Hey guys, so I got some good feedback on the first video that I did, just that some people thought that it was a great way to get information. So I'm doing another one, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of responding to each call that we get when we're on call, and not being in a place where we're screening them out or triaging them out, because quite honestly, sometimes staff that call us, they hint at that a little bit, in that we might get calls from a doctor or a nurse who says, we have this patient, she's here after being assaulted, I don't think she wants to talk to you guys, or she doesn't want, or she doesn't want anyone to come, she doesn't want to talk to anyone, and that's okay, but we still, in our role, we train staff that will respond. We train staff not to ask for consent to call us, and we explain why. So I really want to explain to you guys why as well. And so it happens pretty frequently when I'm on call, that a call comes in and maybe the client has straight up said she doesn't want to talk to anyone, or he doesn't want to talk to anyone. And so I want to concentrate on the purpose and the importance of why we still respond to these calls. Hospital staff are trained that calling us is a mandatory referral, and then we then train our volunteers that calls that come in, unless they are inappropriate, so unless it's not IPV, unless the patient is not alert and oriented, those obviously we may need to be called at a later time. We may not come in because it's not within our role, but we're talking about appropriate referrals. It's important that we come in. The worst thing that can happen is that client says, I told them that I didn't want to talk to anyone, please get out of my room. And I will be honest and say that and it sounds crazy, but I think that some of the most impactful assessments that I've done have been with people that were very upfront when I first walked in that they didn't want to talk to me. And so there are two real reasons why it's important that we still respond. The first is that I find if staff explains who we are, asks the victim if they want us called, they may feel like, oh, I don't want to inconvenience someone, I don't really need this help, I'm fine, I'm going to go to my mom's house, nothing's ever going to happen again. So they may not feel that they need to speak with someone, and they may not understand who we are. They may be worried that we're DSS, that we're, police. They don't know when someone says, can I call someone to talk to you? And so we're able to go in, explain who we are, introduce ourselves as advocates, explain our confidentiality policies, and then say, is it okay if we chat for a while? And I find that even the patients that were very adamant that they did not want to talk to anyone, then open up. If they still say, no, I do not want to talk to anyone, there's a big piece of what we do that we can still do. And that is, one, assure that person that if anything should change, if they want to talk to anyone, we are here, remind them of who we are, and give them our information. And so if we don't know a person's situation, I would probably encourage you just to leave the women's health brochure. If the client feels safe taking it, maybe the safety card, like if they can be sure that it'll be fine in their wallet or in their shoe or whatever. But because we don't know if this person is maybe going home to their abusive partner, I usually am not going to leave like a powered control wheel or the protective order guide, just because we don't know how safe it is. So that's the first thing, is that we can still provide information. We can still provide emotional support. We can still say, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. I can see that you must be in pain. It's not okay. And I'm here, and we're here if you need us. And the second thing that is really important that you guys can do is document what you observe. And there was a case a few months ago, actually, where a volunteer did documentation, and really all that it said was this volunteer entered patient's room, she declined to talk, she did not want to talk about what happened to her. This volunteer observed bruising to her right eye, bruising to her face, an abrasion on her hand. And so even though we had no part of the story or anything, we actually got a call from that client just a few weeks later that said, I met with someone. I didn't really want to talk, but do you have anything that the police can have? And in fact, we did. We had a physician's documentation form, and we had documentation of the advocate clearly stating that she saw those injuries. And I think that it was even documented the patient was extremely tearful and shaking. And that can be really impactful if that victim takes this information, goes through court, and has that evidence. And so again, just a quick recap, the first reason why we always respond to all referrals, unless it's inappropriate, is because that person, once they know who we are, once you as a supportive person sits down with them and explains your role, may want to talk. The second thing is that we can still do vital components of our role, which is providing information and even documenting what we do observe. And so please keep that in mind. Always ask your staff backup if there's one that you're like, I really don't know if I should respond, but just know that it's in our role to respond without really any questions asked. Even to patients that they tell us downright aren't going to talk to us because we understand the importance of it. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will talk or video to you guys soon.